From Software's games are filled to the brim with prophecies and secrets, and Elden Ring is no exception. 7 months ago, I transcribed the map obelisks. These are the places where you find the map fragments inside of Elden Ring. Now, I didn't think that this could get any crazier, for in fact the map obelisks are comprised of multiple different languages of the runic alphabet, aka Futhark. It's been 7 months, you might be thinking. Why on earth are you talking about this again now? Well, the reason I'm talking about this again now is the fact that back then we could not have known the depths of what was actually hidden in this secret, what I believe, prophecy. But now that the DLC trailer has come out, we can now see there is so many more hidden meanings inside this wall of text that From Software left waiting to be discovered. From Software takes a lot of inspiration from Norse mythology, so it's only fitting that they in fact used the language of the gods to write the prophecy of the gods. If you don't know, Odin hung himself upon the world tree and gained the knowledge of runes. The very same runes which are carved into the rock of the map obelisks. The map obelisks may be located all around the lands between, but there is one place where we must go to truly understand them, and that is Castle Sol. The term Ice Sun is located all throughout the transcription. What does this have to do with anything though, you might be thinking? Well, it's Castle Sol. A translation for Sol is sun. What is the purpose of Castle Sol? Well, the subordinates there are in fact subordinates of, you guessed it, or perhaps not, Miquella. But what is the purpose of the subordinates lying at Castle Sol? Well, we know from certain pieces of dialogue which are given to us at the end after defeating Commander Niall that they are there to try and bring forth an eclipse. What is an eclipse? An eclipse is when the moon fully covers over the sun, eclipsing it. Is that truly the only significance to an eclipse? The people and the subordinates at Castle Sol don't seem to think so. There is some importance to an eclipse, and it has something to do with the soulless comrade of Miquella. Who could this be? You could go down the route of it being Godwyn, but I'm going to tell you now, I really hardly believe that. Instead, we need to go back to the transcriptions and look at what keeps being repeated, ice, and then there's this thing that looks like a hieroglyph of a great rune, ice. I saw a really interesting comment on the Shadow of the Erdtree trailer a while back. In every single DLC trailer From Software has ever released, the closest to the final boss we've ever seen in the trailer was 1 second of Gale. There is absolutely no reason to believe that we have actually seen the final boss inside of the trailer for Shadow of the Erdtree. So it only is fitting that an epic climactic boss fight will be with someone we absolutely have no idea about. But I think I do know who this is. The Ghost Flame is referred to time and time again in the same essence as those linked to gods are associated, and yet we have never ever seen anyone apart from Rossus holding the Ghost Flame in his palm, a representation of this possible outer god. So, when you hear the term Ice Sun, Ice Great Rune, does that not trigger a thing in your brain which just goes, holy fucking shit? But there's even more. In the last line of the transcription, it talks as if the Ice Sun is a living, breathing, sentient, or perhaps omnipotent being. It says, Man Ice Sun hail strength. And then it talks about protection of the ice giants. We have never seen ice giants inside of Elden Ring. We've only ever seen fire giants. But also, located all throughout the transcription, is the repeated words of ice fire, ice fire. From these very important lines, we can come to the conclusion that perhaps the Ice Sun is in fact a physical manifestation of the outer god. This isn't the first time we've seen this inside of Elden Ring, the biggest example being the Scorpion, Scarlet Rot outer god. The Scarlet outer god took the form of a scorpion, which can be seen in the Scorpion Dagger, which is said to be from the tail of a sealed outer god. In the Shadow of the Erdtree trailer, it talks about how they would not think they were on the losing side of a war. Well, which side of the war is Miquella on, and which side of the war is this great rune of ice on? Well, we simply do not know. From Software loves their little mysteries that can only be discovered once you play the DLC. And that is unfortunately what is going to happen, at least on this topic. But we can go down the speculation route. The first person that probably comes to your mind when you think of ice would be Ranni. After all of her incantations and spells do link back to ice. Hell, her ice moon is in fact of ice. But I don't think this is actually going to be the case, because for starters, that would mean that the Nox are also in on Miquella's plan. That also means that another faction is secretly on the side of Miquella, which would be cool, but I really don't see From Software going down that route, because then it sort of intertwines all these different factions together when they're fighting. I just don't think From Software is actually going to go down this route, as Ranni's story is kind of over in the sense of we have a whole ending of her and us going into this dark and dreary world that we have created. Instead, I truly believe that there is probably going to be an ice outer god with its own little icy god doing icy little things around the icy shadow realm. Maybe there's a whole section of ice that we haven't even seen yet of the DLC. It's a 60GB update, a 60GB DLC, and I really don't think we've even scratched the absolute surface of what's going to be in the DLC from this simple 3-minute trailer. Well, not simple, but you get what I'm trying to say. I'm going to say something that is absolutely crazy, but I think this tablet is in fact a prophecy of the DLC, because we see things like heritage disease, gift journey horse, which seems clear in resonance with Torrent, given that Torrent is actually seen in the first DLC image. And then there's the talk of disease, which is constantly all throughout, and then with terms like the end, or it could be translated as the underworld, which could be referring to the shadow realm, or perhaps even how we are living in undeath. The Tarnished is an undead warrior who simply cannot die, and this seems to be exactly talking about it. If you need more proof that Elden Ring and Norse mythology is connected together, I use the rune for the Tree of Life, aka the Yggdrasil, aka the main inspiration for the Erd Tree. You might be thinking, oh, there can't simply be more, can there, Gecko? Well, you'd be completely wrong, for in fact, something that hints to the identity of this ice god, in fact, comes back from the translations. There's a repeating phrase of giant heritage. Now, what could this mean? Well, it could only mean one thing, a giant heritage. We see ice giants popping up all throughout the transcriptions. Could it be that this god is in fact a descendant of giants? If you actually go to the customization screen, there's a certain class you can pick which says it is rumoured that they are descendants from giants. There are so many things that come together for this theory, for this transcription, and I'm honestly surprised that I'm the first person to cover this, because it is honestly mind-boggling how much information is located in such a seemingly insignificant tablet. For one of the last things I want to talk about in today's video, I want you all to put on your tinfoil hats and just listen. On the last line of text, we get a list saying Soul Horse Gift Ride Ice Lake. This ice lake seems very similar to an ice lake that is located near Castle Sol, and in fact, Sol is exactly brought up, aka another word for sun. You might be wondering what is located on this ice lake. Well, if you don't know already, there's in fact a Church of Marika, which is one of very few inside the mountaintop of the giants. This is where the tinfoily bit comes in. I know it's the Shadow of the Erd Tree set in the Shadow Realm, but just maybe there might be a part of the DLC that isn't set in this Shadow Realm. Perhaps after you've done and fought some kind of main boss inside the Shadow Realm, you need to come back out the Shadow Realm and go, see, perhaps the eclipse has come about because of your actions in the Shadow Realm. It's really speculation at this point, but it seems very, very ominous, the fact that it's saying to ride on the ice lake with your horse gift. It seems like there is something else to this that we don't fully know yet, and I truly believe that in the DLC we will get answers to all of these mysterious questions that we have. Sadly everyone, that is the end of the video. If you did enjoy this one, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, as it greatly and utterly helps the channel. If you want to see more content like this, please let me know down below so I know that this is content you like and I can continue doing it like this for the future. If you'd like to read the raw translations of the obelisks, I will leave a Google Docs link at the very top of the description and the top of the pinned comment. I can't do it in some Word document because I don't have Word. Docs is the best I can do, so I apologise for that. I'm not going to do a classic gecko and hold you any longer, so yeah, I really hope you have a great rest of your day, and may you find your worth in the waking world. Goodbye everyone.